I'm Bryan Bishop. I'm going to be talking about my project for the last few years. It's about social interaction. I called it meetlog. It's everyone I've been meeting every day, what we talk about and how long we talk about it. I started to do this a few years ago, actually, back in 2005, because a friend kind of challenged me to look over how much I was chatting on the internet. So this started with AIM, if anyone remembers that. And this is just an index of the top people that I was talking with. So the first one was actually me, and then the others were everyone else. So it would make sense that percent of all for me would be 66% or something. So I was talking 60% of the time, and everyone else was talking the other 40%. So then we have percent of conversation by words per hour over 0.5 hour intervals, 30-minute intervals. And since back between 2004 and 2008 I was in high school, it would make sense that from 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. I would be attempting to sleep. And it would also make sense that during the days of the week, I would be talking roughly the same versus the weekends, where I would have more time. So anyway.
700,000 words per day.
No, that's cumulative over all of the days. So, I mean, looking at the days of the week, it would make sense that they would be the same because over a year period, they're the same days. So, I got a roommate in 2009, and Mom wanted to meet him. That was fine, okay. So, we started to talk, and he mentioned that he was interested in transhumanism. And transhumanism is about human enhancement, and it's a big part of my life. And she didn't know what it was, and it didn't make sense because I thought I had told her. But if you know 4,000 people and you're trying to keep them all updated about the same things, you have a really hard time to keep track of who knows what. And even if you do have a good idea of where different people are in terms of what they know, it's hard to keep track of all that. And it's just not something that you can think about. So I started to find out that I was like spending 2 hours a day writing very long emails to everyone, trying to update them about what was going on or what I had done. So what if you can take everyone that you know and look at which tags or interests they have, and then automatically compile emails and send out those emails to everyone. If you've received these emails, I apologize. This is my catch-up slide. I'm waiting for myself to catch up. So anyway, giant emails might not be the most efficient way to update everyone about what you're doing in life. But instead, I started this project 2 years ago where I kept track of everyone that I met, not just chat logs. So I started to keep track of it in YAML. And YAML is a parsable language, kind of like JSON, except it has a few more features. So this is an excerpt from early July this year. I track over the internet, in person, phone, and what other people tell me about other people. So this is a graph of that, basically the same data, except 2 years ago. Obviously, over the internet, I talk more. In person would be the lowest. And then learned, and also over the phone. And it would just make sense that, I mean, in terms of my capacity for talking with people in person, it's just lower than over the internet. So this is an individual graph of someone. This is a professor from UT. And he actually once asked me, why is my knowledge 0? And that's not really what it is. That was when other people tell me about you, or when I stalk you and find out new things to add about you. And so in person, 20 times over a period of a year, it makes sense, visiting him for the weekly meeting or something. This is a friend that I lost track of, and this is just the number of conversations. And so it makes sense that, during the time that I lost track of this person, I had a flatline. It also includes like 6 months of not logging or something from chat logs, and then a year of just not talking. So what would this be without a giant tag cloud? But there's 40,000 tags. So you can imagine that it's a hard problem to make it look pretty. So far the weights are really off because some tags have over 1,000, whereas other tags just have 1. So how do I make this look pretty? I haven't really figured that out yet. So I considered that maybe the amount of people that I talk with somehow correlates with the amount of code that I write. But it turns out that the more people I talk with, the more code I write. So that was interesting as an observation. If it was the other way around, maybe I could talk with less people and write more code, but that just doesn't happen. So here's one tag I'm interested in, DIY Bio, or Home-Based Amateur Biology and Genetic Engineering. And this is just, I guess, from a year ago or something. And that's why the tags are so low, but 18 mentions of DIY Bio with Mac or 13 with Android. And the idea here is that I'm able to look at how long I've talked with people about certain topics so that I can be sure that I'm actually talking with people about them instead of just thinking I did. Here's another one. This is an IRC channel on Freenode, kind of at the intersection of biohacking and DIY bio and transhumanism. And it's interesting because these have been my good friends and I get to keep track of them. So if you know 12,000 people and you have mountains of unread email, how do you keep track of all of this? Is it even possible? Well, I think that software definitely helps. But it's not enough just to have these charts and graphs. You have to actually make something that works. So you can imagine that looking at all of this data doesn't really give you the insights into what you need to do. I've kind of found out that charts aren't enough at all. What you have to do is you have to write code that actually sends out the email or otherwise forces you to update different people about what's going on. I've also found out that kind of meeting all the same people in all the same places. A few years back, I was in New York City, just walking around, and someone spotted me. It was kind of weird. I didn't know who it was. So maybe I'll be able to find a proof that the world is imploding in this TikTok. So is it possible to scale beyond this, to go to 100,000 friends? Is that doable with this? So everyone's heard about Dunbar number, which is basically that you can only know 150 people, or to be genuinely friends with them. But if that's true, then technology has no chance with us. So I'm hoping for the other side of that, and that we can actually have as many friends as we want. Thank you.